Hello, good evening from our studio along the OIC Road in Kanifing. This is Star TV News with me, Mumudu Bailabari. Our top stories tonight. Stakeholders gather to review landmark 2026 road transport bill and fleet renewal scheme. Communication Ministry launches key ICT retreat to boost sector coordination. DLEC arrest 12 in nationwide anti-drug sweep. GCCI Trade Fair 2026 Gender Minister visits women entrepreneurs to discuss WEF impact and challenges. Gambia Police update suspected counterfeit cars intercepted. Airport vehicle theft under investigation on the international front. Ugandan scientists say Ebola outbreak exposes dangerous research gaps. Gunmen kill 3 people at San Diego Islamic Center in suspected hate crime. UN Security Council weighs emergency meeting as support for Hormuz resolution growth. These and many more stories coming ahead. And now to the news in detail. The Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, in collaboration with the World Bank, is hosting a 2-day stakeholder consultation workshop on the Gambia Road Transport Bill 2026 and the Commercial Vehicle Fleet Renewal Scheme. The initiative aims to overhaul the country's agent transit sector. Mariam Demseka reports.
The introduction of the Gambia Road Transport Bill 2026 and the Commercial Vehicle Fleet Renewal Scheme marks a massive structural shift. For over 75 years, the country's transport system has been governed by the outdated Motor Traffic Act of 1948, a law written before commercial vans like gele-geles or modern gridlock even existed. The landmark bill seeks to repeal the outdated act, replacing it with modern regulations that align with international road safety standards. The 2-day gathering has brought together key stakeholders from government institutions, the private sector, civil society, the National Roads Authority, and the Gambia Transport Union. Together, they are examining the bill's potential to improve road safety, address existing challenges, and enhance network access. The drafting of this bill is part of a $52.6 million World Bank-funded Gambia infrastructure project. The project is designed to improve transport and energy infrastructure in select areas while strengthening institutional capacity for service delivery. Mamadou Senghor, the operations manager for the project at the Central Project Coordinating Unit, emphasized that the initiative goes far beyond just paving roads.
This bill is particularly important because it brings together several key reforms that are essential for the modernization of the sector. A major area of emphasis under the bill is the strengthening of the regulatory framework governing road transport operations. The bill provides the basis for the development and enforcement of modern regulations covering vehicle standards, operator licensing, commercial transport operation, compliance system, safety enforcement, inspection regime, and service quality standards. These regulations are critical to ensuring a more organized, accountable, and a safer transport sector for both operators and the public.
Under the transport component, the project support includes not only investment in road infrastructure, but also critical reform within the road transport sector. These reforms are expected to improve safety, efficiency, regulation, service delivery, and long-term sustainability. Central among these reforms is the development of the bill, creating modern and comprehensive legal and regulatory framework for the management of road transport. The project also supports the introduction of a commercial vehicle fleet renewal scheme. This initiative aims to gradually phase out and modernize the country's aging commercial vehicles to reduce carbon emissions, improve reliability, and boost passenger safety.
The project is also supporting reform related to vehicle title management and registration systems to improve transparency, efficiency, traceability, and overall administration within the sector. Furthermore, the development of a national transport policy forms part of this broader reform agenda, and many of the strategic directions and institutional arrangements envisioned under that policy framework are being operationalized through the new road transport bill.
Additionally, the agenda includes establishing and modernizing vehicle inspection and certification centers to strengthen roadworthiness, enforcement, and meet environmental standards. Abraham Mendy, the Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, notes that the bill is a bold step towards revitalizing the sector.
Over the next 2 days, your deliberation will shape a bill designed to establish a robust, legal, and institutional architecture for the governance of road transport services in the Gambia. It seeks to professionalize industry governance, strengthen enforcement and compliance, elevate road safety standards to non-negotiable levels, and foster seamless cross-sectoral transport coordination.
This consultation provides a vital opportunity for all stakeholders to review the proposed provisions, share perspectives, and collectively contribute to building a stronger, safer transport system. The session also featured detailed presentations on how the legal and enforcement aspects will operate once the bill is officially enacted into law.
The Road Transport Regulatory Authority, established as a corporate body with perpetual successor and a common seal, meaning it will act as a human being. It can take you to court, but you can also take him to court. So it can also enter into contracts, acquire or dispose properties. It will also regulate and supervise.
So once we have this bill enacted, it becomes an act. So the police would no longer be issuing driver's license. Everything would be transferred to the authority. The job of the police would just be to make sure that they enforce and implement and work closely with the authority.
Officials say the document marks a significant milestone in collective efforts to modernize the legal and institutional framework governing road transport in the Gambia. Maria Madem, reporting for Star TV News.
The Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy has convened a 3-day ICT intra-sectoral retreat at Apkas Creek in Fonyi. The gathering is designed to review the major milestones achieved in 2025 and strategize for the improved implementation of digital programs throughout 2026. Our reporter Hadi Jaju has the rest of that story.
The retreat, which commences on Monday, brings together officials from the ministry and its satellite institutions to assess progress made on key ICT programs, identify challenges affecting implementation, and develop practical and sustainable solutions. The gathering also seeks to strengthen coordination and harmonize activities and priorities for the current fiscal year. Speaking to journalists at the opening, the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Lamin Jabe, highlighted the importance of the retreat in strengthening collaboration among institutions within the ICT sector. He described the ICT sector as one of the country's key drivers of economic growth, saying its contribution continues to have a significant national impact.
Absolutely. They say our impact speaks for itself as a sector. If you look at the 2025, the trend, we have contributed almost not less than or close to 25-26% of the collectibles in this country in terms of revenue. In terms of employment, we are the second largest employer as a sector, that direct employment. And in terms of impact, we almost impact on every sector of this country's economy, be it agriculture, be it even in transportation sector, be it in health, be it in education, be it in gender matters, be it in youth and sports, be it in environment, almost every sector, the defense, the security, almost every sector, we are present. And without us, most of those sectors, in fact, finds it difficult to deliver. So yes, the future is bright. The Gambia is moving in the right direction. We are defining the right path in terms of infrastructure, in terms of service framework, as well as the applications.
He also underscored the need for stronger collaboration and strategic planning to sustain the country's rapid digital transformation, while calling on the participants to use the platform to reflect on achievements, address existing challenges, and develop practical solutions that will support the country's digital transformation agenda. The Director General of the Gambia ICT Agency, Abdukarim Jallo, also underscored the government's commitment to advancing digital transformation across the country.
Currently, obviously, the government have a very big digital transformation agenda.
and it is aimed at making sure that we get to the digital economy that we aspire for the country, because nowadays all over the world, every country is pushing for digital transformation, right? To transform its economy into a digital economy. And to do that, we need to be sure as a government that we have the prerequisites in place, such as the infrastructure, like the data centers, the internet connectivity, and also other services associated with digital economy. But also one important aspect of that digital transformation is to be able to make sure citizens and residents are able to access government services, right?
Digitalization is rapidly becoming a key driver of socio-economic development across the globe. Experts say the growing use of digital technologies is helping countries boost economic growth, create employment opportunities, and improve public services. The managing director of GAMCEL, Fatou Fati, says the retreat serves as an important platform for institutions to collectively address the challenges affecting their operations.
Well, actually something very, very positive, because if you look at the presentation, it is such that we're not only coming to do a presentation individually like the different departments or institutions, but we also see how we can also collaborate with the different departments or institutions. For instance, GAMPOS has just launched what they call the Sutura. So GAMCEL is actually trying to see how we can collaborate. For instance, they can also sell the GAMCEL airtime.
WADIP project coordinator, Sering Omar Lo, says the project aims to support digital transformation by improving internet infrastructure, enhancing regional integration, and promoting inclusive access to digital opportunities.
So we are, tasked with improving connectivity. In the Gambia, we are landing a second submarine cable. As you know, we only have one submarine cable in Gambia, which is ACE. So if somebody cuts that cable, they cut us off from the world. So we are landing the new cable. Currently, even the progress on that, we are opening the proposals from the two solution providers this June.
From online banking and e-commerce to digital learning and smart governance, digital transformation is reshaping economies and societies. Studies show that digitalization contributes significantly by increasing productivity and encouraging innovation across industries. The retreat is expected to end with renewed commitments and actionable strategies aimed at improving coordination, enhancing service delivery, and accelerating the implementation of ICT programs across the sector. Participants are also expected to adopt a unified roadmap to guide activities for the remainder of 2026. For Star TV News, I am Hadijaju.
The Drug Law Enforcement Agency of the Gambia has arrested 12 suspects, including a Senegalese national and a Dutch tourist, in a massive nationwide crackdown on illicit narcotics. At the Kerjata checkpoint, officers intercepted 26-year-old Senegalese national Sheikh with 2 blocks of suspected hashish hiding in his luggage. Similarly, at the Bullock checkpoint, Abdullah Bari 20 was caught with 2 largest bundles of cannabis sativa. The sweep also targeted hard drugs in the West Coast region. In Jambanjeli, Usman Sise 30 and Maimuna Njai 34 were apprehended with 21 stones of suspected crack cocaine. In Bijolo, State Sambar 40 was found in possession of cocaine powder and 3 blocks of hashish. Other significant arrests involved street-level distribution rings in Sinchuwuri. Alasana Jaju 22 was caught using an unregistered motorcycle to transport 64 bundles of cannabis. In Sanyang, Yaya Manga 20 was detained with a diverse kit containing cannabis, skunk, ecstasy, and the synthetic drug coups. Additionally, 76-year-old Dutch national Jan de Jeddah was arrested in Kololi with a substantial quantity of controlled prescription pills, including Termol and Diazepam. All suspects are currently in custody, waiting prosecutions. Moving on now, the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, Honorable Farouk Kinte, paid a surprise visit to the ongoing Trade Fair International in Brussels. The engagement offered a first-hand look at how Women Enterprise Fund is impacting local business. Mariam Demsek again.
The 19th edition of the Trade Fair Gambia International is in full swing at the GCCI grounds in Brussels, running from April 25th to May 24th. 2026. The month-long event is a bustling hub for global networking, local innovation, and economic growth.
waaye bis mooy suma third time may ñëw ci trade fair bi loolu yëpp pour support jigéen ñi.
This is my third time attending the trade fair to support our women vendors. In almost every group I'm part of, women make up the majority and they are doing a tremendous job. When I heard the minister was going to be here, I was super excited because women truly deserve all the support we can give them.
During a surprise walkthrough, the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Welfare met with vendors including 10 young women entrepreneurs directly sponsored by the Women's Enterprise Fund under her ministry.
For the Sticker Trade Fair, you've come together and support each other so that you can have enough space for each other and showcase what you have. And you are working in partnership and coming together in this trade fair, we facilitate networking with others. And when that is done, then your products, you are providing the market for yourselves, and your products will be sold outside.
While many entrepreneurs shared success stories of how the fund transformed their small ventures, they also highlighted ongoing challenges they want the government to address.
Myself, I'm employing up to 3 people. So this is our contribution when it comes to national development. And because there are a lot of difficulties that we face in terms of exports and import and all of that. So especially those who are into cosmetics, those who are into production. The production center that we have mentioned, people that are into food processing. There's a need to have this center so that women like us can go there and produce our goods and also bring it out to the market. These are goods that are considered as export-oriented goods, and it's important that when we produce them, the quality that is expected is there, and we wouldn't be able to do that if we do not have these facilities up and running. We've also mentioned about the young women that are into the cosmetic and the beauty industry. Lately, the government has brought about some regulations trying to regulate the industry, which we are so happy about. But that also, there are a lot of things that need to be put in place in order for that to be able to be So we have gave them these recommendations that we want the government to look at these issues and ensure that these facilities are up and running so that we will be able to run our business smoothly, as we are also contributing to the development of this country.
Responding to these concerns, Minister Kinte noted that the exhibitors' challenges will be attended to. She held their efforts in generating employment, emphasizing how grassroots job creation complements the government's economic drive.
But be rest assured, before next state fair, inshallah, next year, our own laboratory will be up and running. And then you don't have to go all the way to Ghana and other countries to test what we produce. You can test everything here and then provide it for the market. And for us, as the clients, we'll be very happy because we'll know what we are using, where it's coming from. It's all natural and made in the Gambia produce. Thank you very much. I'm also impressed by what you mentioned, that you are doing so well. You've had 1 or 2 hands creating employment. That's excellent. Because first of all, you are employed.
Yes, I am.
We contribute towards poverty alleviation by hiring 1, 2, 3 hands, employing them. You're also contributing in a very big way towards poverty alleviation. And we want to thank all of you. And of course, the government for making the environment conducive. You know what we are doing. We are aware of some of your challenges, and rest assured, we are working towards that.
The initiative is being held as a major step forward for local innovation. Other vendors we spoke to echoed this sentiment, noting that the fair has significantly boosted their visibility and sales.
This is the first time for international trade fair. This is the first time for the international trade fair. But like other trade fair that we normally do in the Gambia, we do come. But this is the first time for the international trade fair. Yeah, and then like we said, I was proposed to introduce our business to other people, like the business that we are selling, and then like how we start and where we heading to and what we do.
Advertisement. So même so jaayul di nga xam ay nit yu bees yoo xam ne.
This is my 5th year attending the trade fair, and it has been nothing but rewarding. It is such a great avenue for us to showcase our products and network. Even after the fair is over, customers we meet here keep coming back to our shop to buy.
GCCI Board Vice President Fatou Jallow accompanied by the Minister and noted that the turnout this year has broken previous records.
We were very happy that she's here. It showcased that she's very passionate about the development of women of the Gambia. Thank you.
So how will you assess this year's, trade fair?
This year's trade fair is bigger than any other. Of course, trade fair keeps getting bigger every year. This year is, of course, the biggest so far. Good that we had stalls. In fact, we didn't have stalls for everybody that wanted to come. So hopefully by next year we will extend and have more. This year we've seen more youth than before. We've seen more women, of course. There are over 90% of the exhibitors are women, so that's also very good. And yeah, the trade fair is here to help businesses. Even if you don't sell anything at the trade fair, it's good for you to know that you have been seen. Your brand has moved at least one step further.
Officials note the visit bridges the gap between high-level policymakers and grassroots workers. They say it signals a government that values local vendors and is actively invested in real-world economic outcomes rather than just managing funds from an office. As the 2026 trade fair enters its final week, it stands out as a critical milestone for Gambian entrepreneurship, connecting local creativity with global opportunities. Maria Madem, reporting for Star TV News.
The Gambia Police Force has released updates on two separate criminal investigations currently being handled by regional commands involving a major counterfeit currency operation in Basse and a vehicle theft near the Banjul International Airport. The Police Crime Investigation Department CID in Basse has expanded its investigation into massive haul of suspected counterfeit United States currency intercepted at the Yoruba World checkpoint. Following the initial bust, detectives identified the suspect as Sadia Ndome, a 30-year-old Senegalese national. Upon a thorough research of Ndome's luggage, officers recovered suspected forged banknotes totaling $46,700, which has been meticulously concealed inside bale of second-hand clothing. During interrogation, Ndome claimed innocence, stating he had no prior knowledge of the illicit cash. According to police, the suspect alleged that a cousin residing in Italy has instructed him to collect a television set and the bale of clothing from an individual in Basse and transport them across the border to Senegal. Ndome remains in police custody as investigators work to trace and apprehend other accomplices linked to the international smuggling ring. In a separate incident, authorities at the airport police station are actively investigating the theft of an surf reported over the weekend. On Sunday, May 17, 2026, Sidi Cisse, a resident of Lamen Kerewan, parked his grey Volkswagen Touareg, registration BJL 3982S, near the airport mosque to attend prayers. When Cisse returned from the mosque, he discovered his vehicle had been stolen. The Gambia Police Force has launched a police appeal, urging anyone with information regarding their whereabouts of the grey Volkswagen Touareg or the identities of these involved to contact investigators immediately. Investigations into both cases are ongoing. From that police story, we will now go for a short break. When we come back, we'll look at news beyond our borders. Stay with us. TV News, we are broadcasting from our studio along the OIC Road, formerly the Battle Harden Highway, and now to news outside the Gambia. There's a growing concern about this latest outbreak in Uganda, where 2 cases has been found and 1 person has died. Researchers say not enough is known about his strain. Al Jazeera's Catherine Soy reports from Entebbe in Uganda.
Scientists at this institute that studies viral infections in Entebbe say not enough research has been done on the Bundibugyo strain of Ebola linked to deaths in DRC and 1 fatality in Uganda.
It's different. It's different from Zaire. It's different from Sudan. The only vaccine that is licensed is for Ebola Zaire. We are now testing the one for Sudan. It's not yet also licensed. Bundibugyo is a little bit behind.
We have had some other cases.
Stephen Barinandi has spent years studying Ebola and searching for possible treatments. He says outbreaks like this are not surprising anymore, but this little-known Ebola strain worries them.
One of the most challenging gaps we have is diagnostics. to rapidly test and identify who's affected and who's not affected. What vaccines? How can we prevent those who are not yet been affected from being exposed and stop the infection, stop them from falling sick?
The Ugandan city of Entebbe feels far removed from the outbreak zones, but health workers are telling the public not to let their guard down.
We also spent some time on the streets in Entebbe talking to people. This is a road that leads to the airport. Many people are saying they're not worried, but the government is asking them to be extra vigilant.
I hear Ebola is with us. People say they know about Ebola, but they don't understand it. There needs to be more awareness.
In the capital, Kampala, people are increasingly worried.
Ebola is back, and yeah, it is worrying, so it's something that everyone is scared of, and personally, I'm scared.
The Bundibucho strain was first identified in Uganda in 2007. Since then, there have only been 2 other recorded outbreaks, both contained relatively quickly. This time, scientists say the priority must go beyond containment, focusing on stronger preparedness, faster response, and more research at a time of global funding cuts and conflicts in the region. Catherine Soy, Al Jazeera, Entebbe.
A shooting at a mosque complex in California that killed 3 people is being investigated as suspected hate crime. 2 teenagers believed to have carried out the attack in San Diego were found dead in a car after apparently taking their own lives. Al Jazeera's John Hendon reports.
Police scoured the scene of a San Diego mosque, searching for evidence in a mass shooting they're calling a hate crime.
Someone died today. It's very sad, especially in the mosque. They didn't do anything at all, and they do not deserve that. And I just feel so bad, and it's actually very I don't feel good at all about it.
When police arrived just minutes after they received an emergency call reporting shots fired at the Islamic Center, they found a bloody scene. Among the dead was a guard.
We're still looking into that. We do believe the security guard was able to help at least minimize the situation to the front area of the mosque. Until we know more, I don't want to speculate, but at this point I think it's fair to say his actions were heroic, and undoubtedly he saved lives today.
Not far away, a local landscaper reported that he had been fired upon but not hurt. Police say the apparent gunman, ages 17 and 18, were found dead in a car of apparent self-inflicted gunshots. The Los Angeles Times reports police found anti-Islamic writing on the car and on a weapon used in the shooting, evidence, they say, of a hate crime. The cities of Los Angeles and New York have added protection around mosques as a precaution.
The other mosques and all the places of worship in our beautiful city should always be protected. It is extremely outrageous to target a place of worship.
California Governor Gavin Newsom and President Donald Trump were briefed on the shooting.
Terrible situation. I've been given some early updates, but we're going to be going back and looking at it very strongly.
The shooting occurred shortly before noon, a short while before hundreds were expected to gather for afternoon prayers, not far from a school on the mosque complex, where officials said children were unharmed. John Hendren, Al Jazeera.
130 countries have signed a UN Security Council after resolution to the Strait of Hormuz. The text calls for a protection of freedom of navigation on and around the strategic waterway. The United Nations said close to 20,000 sailors have been stranded inside the Gulf since the Iran war began in late February. Al Jazeera's Gabriel Elizondo reports from the UN headquarters in New York.
130 countries have signed a UN Security Council draft resolution on the Strait of Hormuz. The text calls for the protection of freedom of navigation in and around the strategic waterway. The United Nations says close to 20,000 sailors have been stranded inside the Gulf since the Iran war began in late February. Al Jazeera's Gabriel Elizondo reports from UN headquarters in New York.
Now, we expect in the coming days there could be a vote here in the Security Council on this very important draft resolution focusing on the Strait of Hormuz. Now, it's getting more and more support day by day. Just a week ago, this draft had co-sponsors of about 112 countries. That has now jumped to more than 129. There have been significant additions in the past few days as well. Somalia and the Democratic Republic of the Congo have both signed on as co-sponsors. That's significant because they are both elected members of the Council. So not only does this draft have support from 2/3 of the member states of the UN already, but it is now gaining more support from Council members.
Circulated a draft resolution.
Bahrain and the United States submitted this draft resolution to the Council, with Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Kuwait joining them as principal sponsors. The resolution primarily focuses on freedom of navigation, but also aims to protect international waterways, commercial shipping, and energy supplies as well, all while focusing on the preservation of international law. Now, we expect these chairs to be full with ambassadors watching closely, particularly on Tuesday, when we are hearing that the Security Council could be meeting in emergency session at a request of Bahrain after recent drone attacks on nuclear facilities in the UAE. Gabriel Zondo, Al Jazeera at the United Nations in New York.
And that report brings us to the end of this edition of today's news. But before we go, we look at the main points once again. Stakeholders gathered to review landmark 2026 road transport bill and fleet renewal scheme. Communication Ministry launches key ICT retreat to boost sector coordination. DLEC arrests 12 in nationwide anti-drug sweep. GCCI Trade Fair 2026 Gender Minister visits women entrepreneurs to discuss WEF impact and challenges. Gambia Police update suspected counterfeit cars intercepted. Airport vehicle theft under investigation on the international front. Ugandan scientists say Ebola outbreak exposes dangerous research gaps. Gunmen kill 3 people at San Diego Islamic Center in suspected hate crime. UN Security Council with emergency meeting as support for Hormuz resolution growth. Well, this is all we have time for in our today's news bulletin. Thank you very much for your time. Do stay tuned and enjoy our programs. Until then, have a pleasant night.